you very much, Kent, and it's good to be here tonight. Can I just say, contrast with Arrow Valley, last night the mayoral candidates were with us. When the mayoral candidates finished speaking, about a third of the audience left the room immediately. So it was a slightly insensitive thing. It was a little bit like the young boy in the school that I taught at years ago, who was going home when I stood for the election the first time, went home to his mother and said, I know what the old headmaster's doing. He'd seen my billboards around the town. He's going to be a real estate agent now. I'm not going to be a real estate agent. I'm offering myself for another term. Can I say that I look with a high degree of envy on these candidates who are not currently on the council? And I guess I was like that in 2004. It's very easy when you're not on the council to talk about what can be done. But can I just say this to you all, and I can say this to them, it's a much more complex environment. The complexity comes from just two simple things. The demands are as diverse as the people of Wellington, and the resources are limited. And you've got to make decisions. We can do all the artificials that everybody wants us to build tomorrow, as long as we're prepared to pay for them immediately tomorrow. Yeah. We decided a couple of years ago that netball and the indoor sports, and my daughter's sitting over there, and if any of you have been suffered up at High netball courts, you'd realise that an indoor sports centre is pretty important for some of the netball players, and there are more netballers in Wellington actually than any other single code. So we went that way. If we try and do everything at the same time, we're going to be stymied every time. We've just got to make decisions from time to time. And that's why it's a luxury when you're not sitting in council and you've got to sit there and defend it. Can I say this, that I think there's a dual focus in the role of council, and I give you my commitment that I will continue it. I've only been on council for 6 years. This is what I've tried to do. The dual focus is two. One is you've got the people factor, and the other is the strategic responsibilities. When you've got the people factor, and that's the part that I enjoy considerably, and that is you've got to be accessible, and you've got to be approachable, and you've got to be able to respond. And I'd like to think that I've proved that over the years that I've been there, in the 5.5 years that I've been there, and in fact it's the type that I enjoy. We are accountable. Don't let anybody consider that. If anybody wants to see the accountability, come and look at my emails each morning. And we get about 30 or 40 emails sometimes overnight, and people are worried about little things. And it's those little things that are as important to people as some of the major strategic issues. And councillors are there actually to respond to the people about the small problems that exist in their particular neighbourhood, their particular street. And that's one of the major jobs. The other one is the strategic responsibilities we have to ensure that this city is good for our children and our grandchildren and the people that follow that. And the strategic issues, in my opinion, is this city's got to remain affordable. It's got to be affordable for the residents, it's got to be affordable for the organisations, it's got to be affordable for businesses. And businesses often get stymied and knocked around. Businesses employ people. If people don't have jobs in the city, we'll drain the city out. So let's not overly criticise businesses too often. The second thing is the city's got to be vibrant. It's got to be an exciting place to live. It's got to be vibrant. There's got to be good jobs out there for people to be in. There's got to be good systems that operate in the city. And I think personally the city's got to have good fun as well, and therefore these events are important. I think thirdly, the city's got to be accessible. I think there's got to be an integrated transport system. My wife and I, we live in the inner city. We have the privilege of living in the inner city, but I'm not going to tell a person not to own a car. There are cars parked all over Mount Victoria, there are cars parked in the Arrow Valley. But there are people living further out who need a car. But at the same time, because we live in the city, we walk a great deal. Tonight we came to this meeting on the bus. I wonder how many other of my candidate colleagues came on a bus tonight when they start talking, waxing lyrically about public transport.
Not
came on a bus tonight. And thirdly, walking is a wonderful way of getting around this city. And that wonderful waterfront of ours, which has a 95% rating amongst the citizens, thousands of people are there every weekend. And the last thing is, Wellington's got to be a respected city. It's got to be a city that really is respected, and it's got to be respected because rubbish and litter and graffiti, which should be described as property vandalism in my opinion, should be out in the city, and there are far too many cigarettes stubbed around. Where do we go next? What have we got to look at next? We've got to have better broadband. Sam Morgan came and spoke to us in the council. He looked at us out there, and I suppose we all exceeded him by a number of years, and he said, you felt that roads were important. The livelihood for the future is broadband. So we've got to get broadband right. We do have to sort out the traffic issues of this city. Let's not have Wellingtonians in 20 years' time looking back and saying, why the hell did they let this city become an Auckland nightmare? Why didn't they start sorting those things out at this stage? Somebody's mentioned water here. There is a water issue in this city that we've got to be prepared to look at as well. I think we've also got to make sure the city is safe. and secure. We love the vibrancy of the inner city, but it's also got to be safe and secure. And I think the other one is population growth. We're going to have an extra 6,000 people wanting to live in this inner city in the next, by next 2030. We've got to be able to manage that enormous population growth. Thank you very much.